Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode here in NHL 23. So in the last episode, we made some more extensions to our big guys, and yeah, Reefers and Brunstrom are both signed now long-term. Well, Reefers for 8 years, Brunstrom for 6 years, and our team is off to an incredible start in our first 42 games. We are 31-9-2. Our goaltending has been fantastic. Our defensive play has been fantastic. Our offense has been fantastic. We're the best offensive team in the league and the best defensive. And we also have top 10 power plays and penalty kills. So everything has been gelling really well so far. Now I am pre-recording this episode just because I do need to get rid of the rest of the season just to see how good this team finishes off the year. I do really want to know how Asher Vance finishes off the season because he was injured, missed 2 games, but he has 36 goals to lead the league in 40 games. He's on pace to have probably a 70-goal season at this rate. We know he has crazy second halves usually, and yeah, he's also on pace for like over 120 points, which would be nuts too. So yeah, hoping that this team could just continue doing what they've been doing so far this season. Because like I said, it's just been unreal so far how good this team has been. Like Connor McDavid, he's going to be a pending UFA this year, but he also probably will end up retiring. But like, just look at how good the step scoring is, the good plus minus throughout the entire lineup pretty much as well. Like obviously, like the third and fourth line is going to suffer a little bit because they're not out there as much. But like, just it's crazy how good this team has been. And then goaltending wise, Aiden Howden has had elite numbers. Kind of wish I gave him an 8-year extension when I had the chance, but his asking price probably would have been huge. But look at that 931 save percentage and a 2.07 goals against. Like, if he finishes off the season with those type of numbers, that's a season for the history books. That might be one of my best seasons I've ever had a goalie ever have, like since NHL 18. Because I used to have like really good goaltenders in like NHL 18 and 17 and stuff like that. But since then, I've never had a goaltender have that good numbers. So hoping that Aiden Howden finishes off with similar numbers at the end of the season. If it's down to even like a 925, it will still be a really, really good season, I'd say, for Howden. Hoping that he could probably do that in the playoffs as well, because he was good in the playoffs last year for us. But there's that. I also actually forgot to check in last episode where Donald signed, and I apologize about that because I meant to do that like I normally do, but we did not take a look where Donald signed. So we'll definitely take a look at where he's gone to. And then, yeah, we'll simulate the rest of the season because I don't think I'm making any trades, and that's why I'm also pre-recording this episode, because more than likely you guys commented and said, hey, just keep the team as is, so that's exactly what we'll do. So Ezra Donald signed with, or not Ezra, what's his first name, Easton? Yeah, Easton, signed with Philadelphia on a 1-year deal, so he will be a pending free agent again next year, but he is in Philly, which is interesting. He's having a solid year so far, but he hasn't had, like, say, the lights out type of year that he did, like, a few years ago with us. But he's getting outplayed by his former backups, so that's a good sign that we let go of the right goaltender. But yeah, let's simulate the rest of the season, see how this team finishes off the year, because we have 31 wins so far in our first 42 games. Means in the next, we probably will hit 60 wins this season if we continue on this pace. There is a chance that we end up not making that too, but who knows. Why do we have like 3 games against St. Louis this month, and we have a back-to-back with them? That's kind of neat. I haven't seen a back-to-back with like a home-and-home scenario in quite a while. Let's go to the end of this month. And yeah, I don't think this team needs to make any changes to our lineup. We did have one injury to Len Morris, but he is back now, as I was just talking about him. That's good. Len Morris has been elite defensively. I am glad I have like pretty much everybody on this roster locked up for next season already. There's only a few guys that won't be coming back for sure, like Nazar, likely McDavid, depending on if he retires or not in his asking price. We lost a couple of games there, but 35-11-2. This might be our first game against the Montreal Canadiens since we beat them in the Cup Finals, so that's kind of an interesting one. They've been pretty good this year as well so far. We are not the best team in the league anymore, which is also kind of good, because I do not want to win the President's Trophy necessarily. Let's go to the 1st of March. But yeah, how much goals is Asher Vance going to finish off the season with? Are we going to have a worse second half of the season? Which, I mean, if we do have a worse second half of the season, that might be kind of good in a sense, because that means that we'll have a higher chance at winning the Stanley Cup, I think. Because if you have just a completely dominant season, usually you don't win a Stanley Cup too. So if we have like kind of like a streakiness to us, that's a little bit better in a sense. But 41, 15, and 3. Let's see where Vance is at. We don't know, but McDavid's at 89 points in 59 games. Oh man, this might be the most crazy season ever. Like, McDavid has a chance, and maybe Vance does too, at the most points ever in a season for me in a franchise mode, because 89 points in 59 games, I don't know what that's on pace for, but yeah, that's unreal. That top line is probably just cruising. Like, they have life on easy mode right now. Let's go to a day before the deadline, and then we'll pass the deadline, take a look at the trades that happened at the deadline, just because I am curious if any former players get dealt. That's the only thing I'm curious about trade deadline-wise. We aren't going to make any trades ourselves, though, because we are too good. And I would rather just keep the course pretty much like we did last year when we won the Stanley Cup. So let's see, was there any big trades using former players on our team? Vance is at 45 goals now, and he's at 91 points. He is literally almost a 50-goal scorer in 60-something games. That is crazy. That is crazy. Any former players that I could look at, or just any crazy trades? I don't know any of these guys, to be honest. But I will scroll through this just because I should probably show some of this type of thing in this franchise series. Looks like no former players getting dealt or anything so far. Yeah, I don't see any former players, to be honest. Oh, there's one. Solovyov, our former defenseman that we drafted. We've had so many good defenders that I almost forget about him. He gets dealt from the Los Angeles Kings to the Florida Panthers. So Florida's loading up, and LA might not be making the playoffs this year, which is kind of surprising. Yeah, they aren't looking too good, which is weird because the last 2 times we played them in the playoffs, they've been both in the conference finals. So kind of weird that they're taking a little bit of a step back, but let's continue to simulate through the season. How much goals is Vance going to end off the year with? At this rate, he should probably hit 70 goals. If he doesn't hit 70 goals, I'll be surprised, but I guess it depends if our team wins games or not down the stretch. We're losing actually a decent amount, so I don't know if we're going to hit 60 wins this year, but that might be a good sign too. So, okay, 50, 20, and 3. We still got quite a bit of games to go, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we could only hit 59 wins this year. So we're not going to have a 60-win season, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, that might give us a better chance to win in the playoffs when it matters most. 53 wins now. We only have 5 games left, so the max we could hit is 58 wins. There's another win. There's another win. Oh, no. Brennan Bales has been injured with an injured knee. Why do we need to call up a player? Don't we have depth? Don't we have the depth, though? Yeah, I have the depth. Why do I need to call up a player? Why do I need to call up a player? I guess I'll call up Blaine Weeks, but I don't know why I need to call up a player. I am confused. Is this game bugging out right now on me? Because I should not need to call up somebody. Let me send Weeks back down. What the heck is it doing? Let's just go autofix roster for a second here. Why did Topi Tukio get called up? Oh, we had a goalie injury? No. Did we have a goalie injury? Oh, no. Not at the right time. Yep, we did lose Howden as well. That's why. Oh, no. That is not good. I mean, Brigley should, or not Brigley, Scavella should be okay, but Topi Tukio is getting a chance at the end of the season. I don't know how long Howden's out for, but that is very not good. When your starting goalie who's having an incredible season gets injured, oof. Who did it send down? That's right. Oh, man, it reorganized our lines again because of the friggin' roster move things. I didn't realize we had a goalie injury as well. Okay, Brigley needs to be put in. which means Hart, you need to come out. There we go. And let's reorganize these lines back to the way they were again, just because, or else we're not going to get the same results probably. There we go. That's good. Oh, no. Oh, no. Please, Howden, don't be out long term. I'm going to have to take a look at the injury report. Oh, no. This is not good. It's probably going to be a long-term injury. I just feel like it is. I mean, I feel like we could win without him still, but jeez. And now Nitamaki's been injured. We're getting slapped with injuries at the worst time possible. Like, obviously we're going to be a playoff team, but jeez. And we finished 57, 22, and 3. Let me take a look at those injuries first, and then we'll take a look at player stats. And I just saw that Asher Vance didn't hit 70 goals, but that's okay. That is okay. Because I saw his point total. I don't know if you guys did. So Bales will be back shortly, which is good. Howden's out till May 7th. So yeah, he won't be able to play the first round and second round likely, I think. Probably just the first round at least. Because yeah, that's a pretty bad injury. God damn it. Why did the injuries have to slap us in the face right at the end of the season? Oh well. Hopefully our depth could show up. We do have the guys in the minors we could call up. Like, I could call up Weeks as well if we need to. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't know. But, yeah, Asher Vance finished with 65 goals and 123 points. And he missed 2 games. So that is a crazy season for Asher Vance. Did he win an Art Ross? Because he might have led the league in points. I wonder how much McDavid had. And we won the President's Trophy by a point. So, GG's, guys. With those injuries, we're going to be a first-round exit. I don't know how Scavella is going to do in the playoffs, to be honest, but we're going to have to rely on him. And hopefully, he's good enough. Yeah, we won the President's Trophy by 1 point. We had 1 extra OT loss. They had 1 regulation loss, more than us. And we weren't the best offensive team in the league. We finished just below Boston, so Boston must have had a really good second half. We were still the best defensive team in the NHL, 2.48. Our power play looks like it stayed the exact same, but it was finished top 5. And our penalty kill was the best in the league, tied with the Washington Capitals. So everything went well for this team. Yeah, I definitely think we're not going to win a Stanley Cup this year at this rate. Just because those injuries slapping us in the face might hurt us. But there you go. That's our regular season. Let's take a look at our player stats now. See who did what. So, starting off with Vance, yeah. This is why you lock up guys long term. 123 points for Asher Vance, which might be one of the highest point totals in a season I've ever had. Because I think that's almost better than a season that Agostino had. 934 points now, 900 in career games, 562 goals. And that is his second 60-goal season in the last 4 years. He's almost had literally 5 60-goal seasons, though, in the last 6 years. Outrageous. Outrageous year for Asher Vance. And then Connor McDavid, 121 points. Connor McDavid, jeez. In the 2 years that he's been here, he's been friggin' crazy. He's been a crackhead. Goddamn. Reefers hit 100 points this year as well. So 3 100-point players on this team like I was kind of expecting. This is why we locked up Reefers as well. He is a key piece to this team. That is a good jump up for Emil Reefers. He's only 30. Nazar, 63 points, pretty solid, but he might be gone this offseason. Kabanov, 53 points, pretty good. Ziska, 36. Brigley, 33, pretty solid. Hart barely played. Package Slotty hit 33 points. He is a pending UFA. Hopefully he's not asking for too much money. Bales, 27 points. Not really that great, but his contract is really cheap, so it's not the end of the world. Rodney Patterson, 27 points, and Lil only played 2 games. Right wing wise, Recchi hit 58 points this year. Pretty solid. Recchi hasn't been the most elite player that I was expecting, but at least he's a solid point getter. And he is still signed for another 2 seasons. Corrado, 36 points, pretty solid. Defensively, Bernstrom, 56 points at a plus 35. Like I said, I don't really mind paying this guy $10 million because at least he's like usually up there in points. He's always solid defensively too. Like his career plus minus is now career plus 164. Like he's been pretty solid even after Cale Makar left our team. Ninamaki 18 points, Spiller 16 points, both with really great plus minuses as well. So those guys had a really good second half, it looks like. Morris 16 points plus 40. Ovechkin 11 points plus 4. Lowry 9 points plus 15. And an even 0 and no points for the depth defenseman Elliot Jenks, who's going to probably play a little bit in the first round because of injuries. And before his injury, Aiden Howden was 41-17-2. His save percentage dropped from a 930, unfortunately, to a 919, but that is still really good numbers in a 249. And Scavello had a much better second half of the season than Howden did, apparently. He had a 928 at the end of it. So he jumped up from like a 909, I think it was, to a 928. So it looks like roles reversed, but still really good goaltending numbers from both goalies. Hopefully Scavello could win us some playoff games while Howden is recovering from his shoulder injury. So there's that. Let's take a look at stats across the entire league. Did Asher Vance win an Art Ross? He did. Let's go. Asher Vance, the Art Ross winner now too. This guy's already cemented himself as a channel legend at this point, and he's only 29. Asher Vance, an Art Ross winner. He's won Richards, he's won Art Rosses. And Connor McDavid almost won an Art Ross as well. And yeah, Asher Vance is going to win a Richard this year as well, beating out Afanaganov by 6 goals. Let's go, Vance. We had 220 plus point players, and then after that, there was not really a lot. We had 300 plus players, or point players. And no other team in the league had players that did that much, I don't think. The Rangers had Afanaganov and Zegras. Boston had Delorier and Misa. Montreal had Parks. And then Caulfield just barely missing out. But we had 3 players up there, which is nuts. Reefers also had 110 penalty minutes while having 100 points. That's pretty impressive. Let's take a look at Selke candidates. Maybe Reefers is up there for the Selke since we used him as a center the entire year. Face-off number-wise, not crazy. Face-offs, Bedard, 56.2. It actually might go to Connor Bedard, to be honest. Doyle, actually, no, Doyle might be because he's 58% on the draw. Jeez, that guy's good. Never mind, I'm probably winning a Selke. Yeah, Reefer's 56.5. I'd say it's probably going to go to Doyle because that face-off percentage is really, really good. Most fights are fun. Fawcett again in Arizona with 26. Also, I really hate these damn lawnmowers and weed whackers and stuff going around in the summer. Always when I record, it seems like they're always out. Oh well. So yeah, what a year for Asher Vance. Salute to him. He's already in the Channel Hall of Fame. I say almost like first ballot guaranteed at that rate. Adam Fox was the best defenseman. Probably going to win the Norris. Denisov up there for Nashville. But yeah, Brunstrom. They're always up there together. Burnstrom still finished top 10 in points. He finished just above Cale Makar, his former defensive pairing guy. So yeah, Burnstrom, fantastic year. And that's why I locked him up. Goalie-wise, the best goalie in terms of wins, Ned Pozo. God damn it, Ned. Why is it always Ned? And Howden was second in wins. Aegon as well. Best save percentage by a starter was Aiden Howden. Best goals against average by a starter, Aiden Howden. So Howden's going to win, I think, a Vezina. And he got injured in the last few games of the season, unfortunately for him, though. So he's not going to get the start to play in the playoffs, but we have a Vezina winning goaltender as well. And were we the best defensive team? I think we were. Or we were tied for the best defensive team. We might have a chance of winning a Jennings as well this year, so. Any goalie goals? No. Best rookie this season was Greening in Toronto with 58 points, but a minus 30. Oof. Oh, this was the franchise guy that went first overall. Damn, Toronto's doing really bad apparently in the sim. So there is that. Let's take a quick look at the AHL in our terms of our AHL team as well, because I do want to take a look and see how Lane Weeks is developing. He's developing well. He's listed as a 4th liner. Yeah, we definitely need to get him into the lineup next season when we let go of Nazar, because I think more than likely that's going to be the case. Looks like the AHL team had a good year as well. Yeah, they had a pretty solid year. Oh wow, Blackburn was really good too, and he's up to a 72 now at 21. He might be NHL bound soon too. But Tukio is going to be our backup for the playoffs, so we got to rely on Schiavello and see if he could get us out of the first round. I still feel like we might be a first round exit though, because the EA Sim engine is kind of whack sometimes. Who are we playing in round 1? Bales is already back for game 1 of the playoffs. That's actually pretty huge. Big clutch one there, so we'll throw him in over Little. So that's good. So yeah, the only players that are probably going to be missing game number 1 is going to be Howden. For sure, he's missing the first round. And Niittymaki is going to probably be missing a couple days as well. We didn't actually see how long his injury was for. We are taking on St. Louis in the first round. Okay, that's a good rivalry matchup from the past. Let me go to the injury report again for a second. Yeah, Niittymaki's out till the 25th, so he's out probably a good chunk of this round. Let's see, when is the 25th? He is out till game 5, so he could return this round, which is good. But yeah, our Vezina winning goaltender probably in Howden won't be back till the second round. Like, he's gonna probably miss the first few games of the second round as well if we get there. So that kind of sucks, but we got to fight through the adversity if we want to win that second straight Stanley Cup. Let's take a look at these St. Louis Blues, see what they are made out of, because we've never played them in the playoffs, I'm pretty sure, before. Bobby Fuller, former first overall pick. Pretty good player. Robert Thomas is still there at 36, and Emmanuel Brossois. Second line has Nicholas Backlund, Marco Rossi, and Peyton Bonvie. That's a really solid second line. Third line has Oscar Jacobson, Riley Height, and Jonah Fairchild. And a fourth line of Cole Schwint, Amert Drummond, and Dalton Day. That's a really solid forward core. The bottom 6 might be a little bit weak, but it's still nobody below an 80 really on their offense except for Schwint. Shout out to Cole Schwint as well. He has the exact same birthday as me, but different year. I'm older than him by like 5 years, I'd like to say, or 6 years. I don't remember what year he was born. I think it was 01. I can't do math right now. Yeah, it must be like 01 or 02, so I'm older than him by like 5 to 6 years, so that's kind of cool. Defensively, okay. Yeah, this is actually a really solid St. Louis team. Sven Backstrom, who's an 89 overall, former second overall pick a few years back. Our former defenseman, Artem Datsuk, who was with Carolina, he has been moved on to St. Louis. And he only played 58 games this year, so he must have suffered a couple injuries, but he had 27 points. So, yeah, very solid defenseman he is. And, yeah, it kind of sucks that we didn't hold on to him, but at the same stage, where would he fit in our lineup nowadays, right? Second pairing has Sean Holmberg and Zachariah Mera, and a top 6 of Michael Vucevic and Helge Grans. So, yeah, that's a good defensive core, too. Because you have 4 legitimate top 4 defensemen and a legit top 6. And goalie-wise, you have 2 solid goaltenders as well. Jacob Hicketts, who's an 83 overall, former third-rounder of the Sabres 10 years ago, and Valerie Gonchar. Depth-wise, they have Robbie Yerventi, Milan Erat, and Jesse Leolonen. So, yeah, that's a pretty good-looking team. And I am kind of scared that we might get knocked out in the first round just because of the fact EA likes to give these teams that just barely make it into the playoffs good teams, and then they knock you out when you win the President's Trophy. Let's quickly do a comparison in the regular season, and that'll be it for this episode. So they were 45-29-8. We were 57-22-3. We scored 3.65. They scored 3.35. So they're pretty good offensively, but not as good as us, of course. We allowed 2.48. They allowed 2.9. So their defensive core might not actually be as good, or maybe it's the goaltending. Regardless, we were the much better defensive team. 22.1% on the power play for us. They were 18.4%. And one thing I just realized is Nashville had a tragic power play in the regular season. That might be the worst power play I've ever seen. 9.5%. Jeez. But, yeah, St. Louis had a pretty good power play, too, it looks like. Their penalty kill was really bad. Maybe that's why they weren't that good defensively. 80.6 to our 87.7. They did score more shorthanded goals than us, though. And their away record wasn't that great. But I feel like it's going to be a little bit more tighter than we'd like. But maybe Asher Vance, Connor McDavid, Reefers, those type of guys will step up a lot in this first round, because once we get back to the second round, if we do, once we have Howden in our lineup, we should do good. I'm just worried about Schiavello. Like, he had a good regular season, but is he the type of guy that could win us games when we have our number one out? I really hope so. We do have Schiavello locked up for next year as well, which is really nice. So, and we'll see what Topi Tukio can do for us too. Wait, were we under the cap? Because I thought I gave Schiavello less than 905. I think we're under the cap. I can't tell. Let's go to view contracts. How much cap space do we got? We still have $20 million in cap space this season. I don't know how much we're going to have next season, but that is hilarious. Now we have only, like, how do we still have 20 million in cap space with this type of roster? I honestly have no idea. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to round 1 against the St. Louis Blues as we look to get back to that second round and beyond without our Vezina winning goalie. And hopefully we can win another Stanley Cup in this season. If we don't, obviously it's not the end of the world, but I'd like to start winning some cups consistently with this team because I think this team definitely has it in them to turn into a dynasty. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.